TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. Israel's defense establishment ratchets up efforts to root out terror elements throughout the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley, with chief focus on preventing eminent attacks. Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen stresses that while Israel is not keen on war, it will respond to any act of aggression threatening its sovereignty and the security of its citizens. The Israeli Security Cabinet decides to grant Muslim worshippers exclusive entry into the Temple Mount for the remainder of Ramadan, effectively barring Jews, Christians, and other non-Muslim visitors from visiting the ancient compound. Israel's defense establishment has ratcheted up efforts to root out terror elements throughout the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley, with chief focus on preventing eminent attacks. As part of Operation Wavebreaker, IDF, ISA or Shin Bet, and Border Police Special Operations units conducted extensive counter-terror activities, during which 12 suspected terror operatives were apprehended. Among others, amid concrete intelligence by the ISA, IDF Special Forces of the Paratroopers Reconnaissance and Duvdevan Commando units, alongside Border Police Special Operators of the Undercover Yamas unit, operated in the Palestinian city of Jenin to thwart a terror cell which prepared to launch an attack in an immediate time frame. During the course of this operation, exchanges of fire erupted between the Israeli forces and local militants who sought to foil the arrest of the Palestinian cell. Nevertheless, during the course of the battle, a number of the Palestinian militants were hit, forcing them to retreat, while the Israeli forces, who did not sustain any injuries, persisted toward the wanted terror cell and arrested its 5 operatives. Separately, Palestinian militants drove by the IDF military post of Alon Moreh and opened fire toward the Israeli installation. To their fatal regret, IDF troops of the Intelligence Gathering Brigade 636, who conducted operational activity near the Israeli military post, opened fire toward the militants and neutralized 2 of them. Subsequently, the Israeli forces pursued the additional suspects who managed to flee the scene, during which a large number of weapons were located in their trail. Thankfully, no injuries were reported among the Israeli troops. Meanwhile, at Ichilov Hospital in Tel Aviv, Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen visited the 7 tourists who were wounded in the ramming attack at Tel Aviv's beachfront promenade on Friday night, after which he voiced Israel's commitment to provide the best treatment to all of the victims of the attack.
הגעתי הערב לבית החולים לבקר את הפצועים מהפיגוע המתועב בערב שבת בתל אביב. דיברתי היום בבוקר עם שר החוץ של איטליה, חברי אנטוניו טיאני, והבעתי את תנחומינו בשם ממשלת ישראל והעם בישראל על מותו של אלסנדרו פריני שנרצח בפיגוע. שוחחתי גם עם שר החוץ הבריטי, ידידי ג'יימס קלברלי, והבטחתי לו שניתן את הטיפול המיטבי לכל הפצועים בפיגוע. שמעתי משני שרי החוץ שהם עומדים לצידנו במאבק בטרור הרצחני.
Minister Cohen went on to highlight that the latest wave of terror, which was instigated by an orchestrated incitement campaign promoting conspiracy theories claiming a change to the status quo on the Temple Mount, was spearheaded by the ever-deceitful Islamist Hamas, which followed directives that emanated from the Islamic Republic of Iran.
הפיגועים של הימים האחרונים מוכוונים על ידי ארגוני טרור המפיצים תעמולה שקרית ותיאוריות קונספירציה במטרה להתסיס ולעודד אלימות וטרור. חופש הדת והפולחן הם מהיסודות של הדמוקרטיה הישראלית. ישראל מחויבת לסטטוס קוו בהר הבית ולחופש הפולחן בירושלים. חמאס, בהכוונה ישירה של איראן, הוא הכתובת לתוקפנות האחרונה.
While tensions exacerbated to heights threatening regional conflict in recent days, Jerusalem's top diplomat underscored that Israel was not keen on war. Nevertheless, he further clarified that Israel would respond to any act of aggression threatening its sovereignty and the security of its citizens.
הבהרתי לשרי החוץ, איתם שוחחתי ביממה האחרונה, ולכל הקהילה הבינלאומית באמצעות השגרירים שלנו, שאנחנו לא שואפים להסלמה, אבל שיהיה ברור, אנחנו נגבה מחיר משמעותי על תוקפנות כנגדנו. לא נתפשר על ריבונותנו, ולא ניתן לאף גורם לאיים על ביטחון אזרחינו.
Minister Cohen continued by calling on the international community to unite in the struggle against terror, as these elements endanger all normative societies globally.
הקהילה הבינלאומית צריכה לעמוד יחד במאבק בטרוריסטים הפנאטים המסכנים את כולנו.
It is important to know that in recent days, tensions on the Temple Mount have seemingly alleviated. While Palestinian youth continue to barricade themselves following the nightly Islamic Tarawih prayers within the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Jerusalem District Police Commander Doron Turjiman decided not to remove them in recent nights. The reason for his decision emanated from intelligence, which confirmed that the barricaded Palestinian youth did not accumulate stones and fireworks within the mosque, and therefore it was assessed that they did not pose an immediate threat to non-Muslim visitors, including Jews and non-Jews alike, who would visit the Temple Mount during designated visiting hours the next mornings. Thankfully, the assessment was accurate, and the Palestinian youth, after spending the night in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, left during the morning hours without provocation. Meanwhile, predominantly Jewish visitors ascended to the Temple Mount on visiting hours during the course of the Passover holiday, with non-governmental organizations who seek to preserve Jewish interests on the ancient compound, where both biblical temples once stood, calling upon all Jews to visit the site.
3 times a year we were requested by God to come up to this site, and this year during Passover we hope to encourage as many Jews as possible to come to the site and to worship and to pray and to be here to represent the Jewish interests on the Temple Mount.
Concurrently, amid lingering tensions in Jerusalem during the highly contentious time period, Israel has bolstered its police and border police presence throughout the capital's ancient city, with the aim of providing a sense of security to all visitors.
Today, thousands of Israel border police and police officers have been strategically spread out throughout the city of Jerusalem in order to ensure the safe flow and the freedom of movement of all those coming to visit. We have various events taking place today, and the Israel police are spread out to ensure that all the worshipers can attend these events safely and without any worry in their mind. The Israel police are going to continue ensuring the safety and the freedom of movement without letting anyone violate the unique fabric of life that we see today in the old city of Jerusalem.
It is important to know that while tensions seemingly alleviated in Jerusalem's Temple Mount, the Israeli government's security cabinet has been holding daily security assessments related to access of non-Muslim visitors to the ancient compound. After circulating reports, however, indicated the government's intentions to bar access to visitors until after the Ramadan, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was asked whether these reports were accurate during his Monday evening press briefing.
כן, לגבי הר הבית, יש לנו מדיניות קבועה לאפשר ביקורים, יותר נכון, קודם כל לאפשר פולחן, חופש הפולחן למוסלמים, ולאפשר ביקורים של יהודים ולא יהודים בהר הבית. הדבר הזה קבוע, לא השתנה, וגם לא עומד להשתנות. אנחנו כן מקבלים ועושים הערכה בעצם יומית, לא רוצה להגיד שעתית, אבל יומית, לגבי המצב הביטחוני, המצב המודיעיני, אם יש סיבה להגביל עלייה, אנחנו נעשה את זה, אבל ברגע זה אין החלטה כזאת. אנחנו נבחן את זה בהמשך הלילה, לגבי מחר, ואני מעריך שמחר נבחן לגבי יום המחרת גם כן. כן.
Meanwhile, following the Security Cabinet's daily situation assessment, the Prime Minister's office released a statement in which it announced, quote, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir completed a comprehensive assessment with the heads of the security services on the security situation in Israel, including Judea and Samaria, Jerusalem, and the Temple Mount. Prime Minister Netanyahu and the ministers directed that all of the operational forces necessary be invested in order to protect worshippers going to the Western Wall and the routes leading to it. It was also decided to prohibit Jewish visitors and tourists from going up to the Temple Mount until the end of Ramadan, on the unanimous recommendation of the Defense Minister, the IDF Chief of Staff, the Director of the ISA, and the Israel Police Inspector General. Moreover, per this statement, Prime Minister Netanyahu commended the Israel Police for the way it has operated on the Temple Mount and at the Western Wall during Passover, and the security forces for their many counter-terrorist operations and actions to protect the citizens of Israel, which saved many lives. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. If you're blessed by our productions and would like to help support TV7 Israel's ongoing operations, which are exclusively donation-based, please consider making a financial contribution. You can do so at www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, I would like to encourage you to pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, as well as for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Chag Pesach Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time.